Hi, I am Amelia Earhart,
Hello!
and
You died.
went missing.
And died.
Here I am.
Alright, anyway, so welcome to Drunk Doctor Who, episode number 132, talking about the 132nd story of Doctor Who, The Awakening. I'm Hatter, this is Holden.
How old would Amelia Earhart be today?
She'd be 110 or so?
Yeah, here I am.
No.
I aged really well.
Cheers. Alright, what are you drinking today?
Twisted tea, or twee, as I like to call it now.
Magma Flame.
Magma Flame. I was having a, what was it? White Claw earlier.
Yeah.
Lime.
Alright, so this is The Awakening, 132nd story of Doctor Who. In fact, on the back it says story number 132.
Oh, no longer cereals?
Well, no, they're called serials, but when they released them like this, they called them stories.
Oh.
So it works. Alright, anyway, it's only 2 episodes. It should hopefully be a short podcast.
Are the new ones called serials or stories?
The seasons are called series.
Series?
For the new stuff.
Oh, the whole season's a series.
No, but, well, generally speaking, none of the seasons are an entire story arc with the exception of Flux. That's a 6-parter, and there's only 6 episodes.
Oh, yeah.
Alright, so anyway, number of episodes 2. Today's the 9th of October, 2023. This aired from January 19th, 1984 to January 20th of 1984. It was when they were doing the Mondays, Tuesdays.
My name is Vanna White.
The companions are Tegan and Turlo, and our antagonists.
Oh.
What was that guy's name? Sir Geoffrey or something?
Maleth?
Yep, the Malice. You notice how it sounds like M-A-L-I-C-E, as if we got the word malice from it?
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
I did notice that.
Mm-hmm.
Especially because he prefaced it with the verb.
Malice and Sir George. Alright. Okay, so anyway,
We have 5 new companions. Or 4.
The BBC does not consider them companions. There are a few people that ride very briefly for a short distance in the TARDIS in this. We'll get to that in the second episode. But the BBC does not consider them companions.
They're going to be in the next serial?
Nope, not at all.
Oh, not at all?
No, like I said, not companions. In the next serial we have Turlo and Tegan.
So it doesn't pick up right where it left off?
No.
Where they're taking a vacation?
No.
Okay.
Alright. It's 1984 in the serial. It happened in real time back then. And they are going to visit Tegan's grandfather.
Yes.
In the little town of Lower Highcombe or something?
Andrew Varney in Hodcombe, yeah.
Lower Hodcombe.
Yeah.
Or no, Little Hodcombe, right?
I just wrote down Hodcombe.
Oh, I think it's Little Hodcombe. Yeah.
L-I-L?
L-I-T-T-L-E. That's what it's on the subtitles, I believe. Yeah. So anyway.
Like a little field.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Alright. So they're going to visit the grandfather. They are tweaking the TARDIS, making it better. But they encounter a psychic time energy disturbance as they go in.
Energy field.
An energy field. And so they land and they look outside and it looks like it's an old crypt. And they see a man scurry past in like some really raggedy clothing.
Hatched eye.
Well, it's I think
like
it
a
was,
skin folded eye.
Yeah, that's it. They see him run across and
like a burn victim almost, yeah.
Yeah. And then the roof starts caving in a bit.
And he's really fast.
Yeah. And the doctor's like, we need to go save him.
Right, because they saw the collapsing on the monitor.
Yep. Turlo doesn't want to go.
But he was gone when they got out there. And they're like, where'd he go? He couldn't have ran that fast. So like he must have disappeared.
Right. And they thought he might have been injured, but Turlo's like, well, if he can move that fast, he can't be injured.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, so then it cuts to
The reenactment.
yes. There's
The war games.
well, they are war games, but they're not the war games. The
war
serial.
games. You see, that's a recurring theme almost. I think this is the 4th time we've seen this trope. Of like a war games kind of simulation reenactment.
So there's a school teacher. Looks like your average English school mom. Probably 50s. She is almost run over a couple times by a couple of horsemen.
Hampton.
Yeah. Turns out Sir George is one of them.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what was her name? Hampton?
Miss Hampton, yeah.
Okay. So anyway, turns out that the entire village is celebrating a reenactment of a battle that occurred in the village 340 years prior. It was a civil war battle between Parliament and the king, because they were trying to get rid of the king, and the king was trying to maintain absolute power, and they were trying to enforce limitations upon him. They've had a couple of civil wars in the United Kingdom over the centuries. But anyway, so the battle happened in 1643.
Do you think there'll be another?
No.
No, me either.
No, their most recent conflict of any scale, generally speaking, excepting the Falkland Islands, which was not much, was the IRA's attempt to gain independence for Northern Ireland. The bombings that they had for decades.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the Brits, generally speaking, stay out of stuff these days, mostly. They have gone and done stuff with us, like Desert Storm and stuff like that. But generally speaking, they just kind of mind their own business. And they don't really fight each other too much except at soccer games.
Oh.
Anyway, so...
You want to talk about how Israel declared war?
Nah.
Yeah, me either. Scary though, right? You think we're in the end times? Yeah.
I do.
Me too.
I'm looking forward to being raptured. I really am. Here's to being raptured. Alright. Alright. If you don't know, you're living under a rock. But yeah, Israel got invaded 2 days ago, Saturday morning, by Hamas. Like 1,000 Hamas fighters.
Crazy.
Who killed hundreds and hundreds of innocent civilians, murdered them, raped them, took a bunch of prisoners. And they're now threatening, they've got the prisoners in cages, and they're threatening to do live executions on television. It is barbaric. It is insane. Just crazy. Anyway. Back to Doctor Who. Get us on something fun and away from the stuff that's depressing. Okay, so turns out that the teacher doesn't want to play in the war games, even though every single other person in the village, man, woman, and child, are all participating because they are enjoying the reenactment of the thing that happened 340 years prior.
And Andrew Varney. The grandpa, right?
Yeah, that's the name of Tegan's grandfather they've come to look for.
So is it Tegan Varney?
No, it's Tegan Javanka.
Oh,
so
yeah.
that must be her maternal grandfather, the mother's side, because she would have taken up the name Javanka from the husband.
Yeah.
Anyway, I know these days not everyone takes their husband's name, and every once in a while somebody will take their wife's name, but that was not common in the 80s at all.
No?
No. In fact, almost everyone took the husband's name unless they were super famous on their own.
Oh, yeah.
So if you were a big movie star and you got married, you probably leave your name the same.
Angelina
Jolie, right, did not take...
Angelina Pitt.
Yeah, she did not take Brad Pitt's name.
I think Angelina Pitt would sound better than...
Pitts.
Pitts.
Yeah, there's an S at the end.
Huh?
Brad
I thought
Pitt.
it was Brad Pitt.
No, you're right. Brad Pitt.
Huh.
I'm wrong. And Angelina Jolie, but
Brad Pitts. That's even better.
If you're the Pitts, yeah.
Angelina Pitts.
No. So anyway,
they had named their child
Arm Pitt.
Yeah.
Oh, that's horrible. You know what Frank Zappa named his kids?
Frank Zappa.
Frank Zappa, the musician
Yeah.
and actor. You know what he named his kids?
No idea.
He named the girl Moon Unit Zappa.
Oh yeah.
He named the son Dweezil Zappa.
Dweezil.
Dweezil.
Do you know what David Bowie named his son?
No.
Joey. So his name was
Joey
Bowie. Yeah. I think he hated it and he got it changed.
He was married to this absolutely drop-dead gorgeous supermodel. Just stunningly beautiful woman.
Joey Bowie or David Bowie?
David Bowie.
Oh.
And you can
Wasn't
see
he not he was gay though?
Oh, he swung both sides of the plate, I believe.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But she was this like super dark skin tone, like really dark black, like really dark, and just perfect cheekbones, perfect facial structure, just gorgeous.
What was her name?
I don't remember.
I don't remember
Bowie.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, so the doctor, Tegan and Turlo are looking for that guy. They end up leaving the church because it's falling apart. Mm-hmm. There's a giant crack in the wall.
Yeah.
And we'll get another crack like that later on.
Yeah.
And the...
Is it a butt?
5th series of Doctor Who? Or the 6th series? I think the 5th.
In a butt?
No.
Oh.
No, but it's a crack that looks a lot like that one in a wall.
Okay.
Yeah, in like the 5th series.
Are they related?
Not at all.
Do they use the same set?
Not at all. Oh. It just looks a lot like it.
It's like a callback?
Don't know if it is or isn't. I don't know if they planned it or just ended up looking like the other one. But that one's a crack in space and time.
Oh. Different kind of wall.
Yeah.
Oh, well, this one's kind of a crack in space and time.
It's a crack on a wall in a bedroom, an actual physical wall.
Oh.
But it isn't just a crack to the other side of the wall. It's a crack in space and time.
Oh. Like this one.
You could argue, but I don't think it is. I think it's...
The spaceship.
Well, the spaceship landed forever ago.
Oh, yeah. Mm. Where'd the crack come from? Space and
time. Because... Okay.
Psychic energy.
Well, yeah. Because it had invaded the mind of Sir George. Alright. The Malice turns out to be this creature from the planet Rawl or something? Raga. It's this weird creature from the planet Raga that feeds on violent psychic energy.
Yeah.
And it uses it and turns it into power.
I love that trope, by the way.
Oh. So it had gotten to the head of Sir George and causes him to want to play the war games for real. Mm-hmm. Killing a bunch of people, sacrificing the Queen of the May on the Mayday pole. The Maypole.
It never says that explicitly. Does it?
No, but it leans into it so heavily. Yeah. I mean, you see, why would you have the wood at the base of the Maypole?
Oh,
and
no, he
lit
does
torches right there.
Because when it does say that they're gonna burn her.
Mm.
Yeah, you're right.
And
because when he's dropping off the straw dummy, he's like,
"Oh yeah, you can burn her if you want." Yeah. So we were getting slightly ahead of ourselves.
That was the tradition.
It was. All right. So Malice has gotten in the head of Sir George and promised him a whole bunch of stuff if Sir George is willing to sacrifice his village because he's the local judge, the local magistrate. If he sacrifices the village to feed the mouse.
You know, pilots like to celebrate that same holiday.
Mayday, mayday,
Mayday,
mayday. So anyway,
It's a little late.
yeah. So anyway, Sir George is a willing servant of the mouse, and he's willing to go along with
He's been
it.
promised power.
And apparently, the mouse is affecting the vast majority of people in the village. With all some people have gotten into the whole recreation for fun,
Yeah.
but other
Really
people
carried
are
away.
seriously violent with it, wanting people to kill people and stuff like that.
I should have been keeping a scoreboard of mind control in Doctor Who episodes.
There seem to be two people that are not affected whatsoever: the teacher
Ben.
and Ben. Ben Hawthorne?
Wolski.
Huh?
Wolsey.
Wolsey. They're nice and they're not affected. So the doctor, Tegan, and Turlo get captured right outside the church. They leave the church because it's about falling apart, and they get taken to Sir George. Sir George is like, "Wait, what are you doing here?" Because he had cordoned off the entire village with a bunch of the villagers.
Right.
And nobody was supposed to get in. And they said, "Well, we managed to get in." And Tegan finds out her grandfather is missing because she names him. Well, who's your grandfather? She goes, "Oh, what's his name?"
Andrew Verney.
Andrew Verney. And they're like, "Oh, Andrew Verney went missing." She's like, "Missing?" And the doctor's like, "Well, wait, well don't worry, we'll work it out, we'll find him." And she just bolts out the door. And the doctor looks at Turlo and says, "Well, bring her back." And Turlo bolts.
Yeah.
And then the second in command under Sir George, what was his name?
Willow, Sergeant Willow.
Okay, yeah. He pulls up an old gun at the doctor, one of the 17th century guns for the recreation, and says,
Which apparently were real.
"Yeah, they were real. You're not going anywhere." And the doctor was like, "Oh." Sir George comes in, says, "Hey, quit pointing a gun at our guest. These are visitors."
Not prisoners.
Yeah.
But they were prisoners.
Eventually, yeah. So the doctor and he are talking. The teacher's trying to get them to stop the war games and all that. The doctor suspects something is weird, and that guy is tossing up and down a little ball.
Yeah.
He keeps holding in his hand. Like one of those little squishy balls.
Stressed out.
Stress balls.
We went to the blood bank earlier.
Anyway, so the doctor affects an escape.
Is that part of the reenactment? Is that accurate?
No. He kept doing that because it was a link to the Malice, because it was for the Malice's spaceship. Remember, the doctor explains this to the teacher. I
can't read my handwriting. I wrote it really small.
Oh, okay, why?
I don't know. To fit it in. I had the whole page.
Yeah, and you used like a third of it.
I have fields for stuff, so
Yeah, so there's this little ball. We find out later on that the ball is metal, but it's squishy metal, kind of like super incredibly soft gold, pure gold, but even squishier.
tin collect.
That sounds right. All right. So, and he keeps messing with this, and you're like, the ball's kind of important, but you don't know why. The doctor affects his escape. They go out to find him. Sir George is like, find all three of them, find them. And on the way out, Sergeant Willow locks the teacher in the room.
She said she's going to go call the police, put an
Right.
end to it.
And this is all in Ben's house, in this gorgeous really, really super old 17th century original room. It's just amazing.
Yeah.
And Ben, like I said, one of the nice guys, he isn't affected. She finds a priest hole, and it goes all the way back to the church.
Mm-hmm.
So what would happen is back when the Protestants and the Catholics were fighting,
mm-hmm.
sometimes the armies would ride into a town, and they would kill all the priests of the other group. So if you went to a Catholic area and you were Protestant, you killed the Catholics, but especially the Catholic priests.
That's upsetting.
Well, we saw this in the massacre of St. Bartholomew's Eve.
Mm-hmm.
You remember?
Yeah.
Yeah. And the same thing would happen the other way around. The Catholics would roll in,
mm-hmm.
and they would kill the Protestants. So they created a bunch of what are called priest holes. And some of them were just little cubby holes to hide the priest.
Mm-hmm.
Others were elaborate escape routes, like the one we see here, from the church all the way to somebody's house, or just out into the village. And it has come up 2 or 3 times thus far in Doctor Who before.
Oh.
So, and later on it does as well. Because this was a big thing back when the country was fighting between the Catholics and the Protestants. And that's eventually why Ireland left the United Kingdom.
Do you think they still have priest holes?
Probably not in the new churches, but in the old ones, as that one was, yes.
That'd be cool.
Yeah.
I'd like to go see one.
You probably
like a really elaborate one.
The modern version, the later version, would be something like the places where they hid the Jews, like Anne Frank.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
The Anne Frank Museum.
Yeah. So anyway, the Doctor escapes. He's looking for Tegan and Turlough.
Mm-hmm.
Looking around. In the meantime, they find Tegan and Turlough. Turlough gets away. Tegan gets captured.
Yes.
Okay. Tegan's captured. They bring her back to Ben's house, and they have her put on the dress for the Queen of the May. Now, she doesn't realize it because she doesn't know her history really well, but that means they're going to burn her at the stake on the maypole.
Well, I mean, I'm sure she thought it was still just a reenactment.
Yes. At the time, she thinks they're acting weird, but she thinks it's still a reenactment.
Mm-hmm.
It's not until Ben tells her what's going on that they get that idea. Okay, so the Doctor goes back to the church
mm-hmm.
and bumps into, what's his name, Will?
Our new companion, Will Chandler.
He's not a companion. Not everyone who rides in the TARDIS is a companion. But he does get to ride in the TARDIS along with the teacher, Ben... Hampton... I think that's it.
Sergeant Willow...
Yes.
Andrew Varney.
And Varney, yeah.
5 new companions.
No, non-companions. They all get to ride in the TARDIS, though.
Yeah.
For a very brief little jump.
But, I mean, he then had to take them back.
Well, he does take...
That's off screen, though.
He does take Will back, yeah.
Oh, the others he doesn't? So
no,
they
they're
are
still in the village. He just went from the crypt to above ground. That's all he did.
But it doesn't show him taking Will back?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, we never see any of them ever again.
Do we ever see the Malice again?
Not yet.
Okay.
Not yet. Now, how many deaths did we have in this series?
2.
The one guy who is decapitated?
Decapitated?
Yeah, remember they put the 3 swords around his head?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that guy.
He's the second one, I think.
Wait.
No, he's the first one. The second one was Sir George.
Yeah, when he gets thrown into the Malice and dies, yeah.
I'm assuming he died, yeah.
Yeah.
That's 2.
There's one guy who gets knocked out, but he's never declared dead. He just looks like he might have been.
No, he woke up when the guys got knocked out with the rock.
Oh, you're right, because
Willow
he's Sergeant.
taller
Yeah.
guy.
It's the other guy that got killed. The taller, stronger one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Alright,
And then Sergeant Willow rode in the TARDIS.
Yep. Okay, so...
Even though he was kind of a dick the whole series.
Well, he was under the influence of the malice.
Punched Turbo.
Well, he got slapped.
Yeah.
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 Alright. Okay, so, he got slapped by the school teacher pretty hard after he was implying stuff, yeah. So, the doctor ends up getting captured. And, first the doctor meets Will, who turns out he's from 1643. That's how we find that out. He managed to come through,
Priest hole.
well, he came to the priest hole and the wall, but he also came through the time zone change.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So the doctor thinks he's just a projection, because we've seen other projections. We saw the old man from the Mara stuff. That,
Old man.
yeah, that Tegan sees.
Mm-hmm.
Later on we see some soldiers.
Yes.
And a very lordly swordsman.
Yeah.
And that weird creepy little thing on the wall of the TARDIS.
Oh, yeah. That was gross.
Yeah.
Ghosts.
Yeah. So, Tegan, okay. So, the doctor, so Tegan and Turtle catch up.
Mm-hmm.
The doctor tells him to go to the TARDIS. He's going with Will to go try and figure out the the malice stuff.
Right.
And let's see. And then they get out. They decide because they see the little projection in there, and that's when they each get captured. Mm-hmm. She gets taken to the house, told to put on the Queen of the May dress.
Turles has split up.
Yeah,
right?
split up.
And then
she
gets captured right away. He
stays around for a while, yeah. But eventually gets
someone
captured.
Just walks up behind him and punches him. And
yeah, and he ends up being thrown into a
barn.
Yeah, a barn.
Locked up barn
with a green door.
Tegan's grandfather, Ben Woolsey.
Who happens to be the local historian. Mm-hmm. And he was investigating the malice. Mm-hmm. Okay, so the doctor ends up finding the entrance to the secret passage with Will, because Will's like, oh, the malice, I saw him, he was at the battle, I saw him. And there was that stone block that had him carved on it. Yeah. The doctor touches the recessed part of the block and it opens up. And this is the priest hole. Mm-hmm. They go down it, and on the other side, coming the other way from the house, is the school teacher, because she effected an escape by finding the priest hole.
And the depiction is supposed to be a depiction of Satan, which is actually a depiction of
malice,
an alien spaceship.
Yes. Now later on, we will get to meet Satan.
Oh, the actual Satan?
It is what Satan was modeled after, apparently.
Oh.
In an episode called The Satan Pit.
Also, what? Demons?
Well, that was earlier.
Demon, yeah.
The Demons. The AE, I forget what it's called. But that was earlier. But later on in the new stuff, in a David Tennant serial, we will actually see Satan.
He plays Satan?
No.
Oh. Was that one show he's in?
He plays
a demon.
A demon
there you go.
In Good Omens.
Good Omens, that's it.
Okay, so
he's really good at it too.
He was. When I first heard he was going to be the devil, the demon, and the other guy was going to be the angel, I'm like, oh, they got that backwards. It should be the other way. And then I saw the show and I'm like, nope, perfect. I was so wrong. They were perfectly cast, so perfectly cast. Because the other guy plays a bad guy occasionally, like Twilight. He played the lead of the werewolves or something.
Huh. You watch Twilight?
Shannon uses his birthday movies for bad movie night. We've seen like the last Twilight film.
All three of them?
Well, there's 4 films.
Oh, all
We've
4
seen the
of them?
first one, and I think we've seen the last one.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if we've seen the other 2.
And now he's not allowed to.
Oh no, he's to pick a birthday movie, but within reason, we are not watching. There's a couple movies. There's no way. A couple movies that are.
What movies?
Oh God. 30 Days of Sodom. These are movies I wouldn't watch or couldn't watch.
Would he actually pick one of those
one?
though? It was like actual.
Shannon likes to take things to extremes, so he threatens those movies, but he knows there's no way in hell we're gonna watch it. The other one is it the Czech movie? That doesn't sound right.
Do you think you can hear this on the camera?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, did you watch last week's episode?
Not all the way.
Or was it but the thunder and lightning came through.
I didn't get that far. No.
The thunder came through brilliantly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, I don't know if they can hear that, but because the mic is pointed towards us.
Yeah.
But man, you could hear it on there, and it was great.
Nice. I'll have to check it out.
Yeah. So the doctor and Will hide under the stairs because they hear people coming. Hide under the stairs in the priest hole. The teacher who's escaped.
You know what? We should have said more ominous things last podcast.
And
then it thundered.
Well, that would have been some interesting
That would
timing.
have been a good clip.
Oh,
To
yeah.
use in
We
the
see the
future.
lightning, and rather than say, let's count the seconds, we say something like, and then this happened, and that would have been hilarious. We gotta remember that next time. So the doctor taps her on the shoulder. She's trying to escape them, and she crawls under the stairs with them, and then they go and they head off to the church. Sir George knows this thing is here. Ben probably knew it was there. And then they all wait until they come back, and then they head off back to the church. Will and the doctor and the teacher, and they're in the church, and the teacher's like, well, who's he? Well, he's from 1643.
Right.
What? Oh, and he had found the little piece of metal, squishy metal, that was dropped by Sir George. And the doctor's explaining to her, hey, this is metal. She says, well, it's squishy. He's like, well, it's from the planet Rahl or something. Raga. And it's this kind of, whatever the heck you said, metal.
Tin cloak.
And
Oh, that's it.
Tinalak?
Tenalak. Yeah.
Tinalak. Okay, I remembered it. So he's like, this is Tinalak, and he says, these people make it for this, and she's like, what? And he says, well, it probably came here in a spaceship.
It's like a heat shield.
Yeah, and this is part of the ship. It's
and
part of it.
Newtonian
Yeah.
liquid.
And
Are those used in actual science application?
I don't know. Science has gotten past my knowledge. Probably 30 years ago.
What do they call it? Oobleck? Oh, there's this one video, if you put oobleck in a ball, it'll like roll very slowly. Because the viscosity will change when it's rolling, so it'll solidify.
Oh, that's cool, actually.
And the ball will just kind of...
What is oobleck?
A non-Newtonian liquid. They call it oobleck, is like a shorthand.
Okay. I'll look this up
It's
later.
just like ooze.
I'll look this up.
Goo.
Okay, so anyway, she's like, well, what is this? And he explains what the Maris is, and that it feeds off of psychic energy. And he explains the whole thing about psychic energy to her. And then the wall where the big crack is starts breaking.
Yeah.
And
I hate when those cracks break.
Yeah. And the teacher and Will move away. The doctor moves towards it.
For some reason, even though he like screams in agony, but
I think
is it actual terror or like why is?
I
it
don't
hot
know. I
steam?
think it's his curiosity, or maybe it compelled him because he was so close.
He did talk about the mental influences of it.
Yeah. And then he gets there, and the crack is breaking, and
Doctor.
yeah, and all this steam comes out. And the doctor's like, no, and she screams, doctor. End of episode 1.
End of episode 1.
Do you have any questions for episode 1?
Why does the spaceship have an alien face on it?
The spaceship?
The face.
Why is
the spaceship crashed?
Wait, why is
the spaceship a face?
What spaceship?
The one that's made out of the metal that
It doesn't have a
crashed,
face.
and it's the face that comes out of the crack.
No. The face is of the creature that was in the probe ship.
Oh. Probe.
Reconnaissance ship, if you prefer.
Why did it snatch the purse again?
The purse was snatched by the physical projection of a street urchin from the 17th century.
Oh, it didn't actually need it for anything?
Well, if you're a street urchin, you steal what you can to survive. Yeah, Tegan at one point gets her purse snatched away from her.
Does she ever get it back?
Yeah, remember the doctor followed him to get the purse back.
Oh.
And at one point asked, we forgot to mention that. What else?
What about the old man?
The old man was a psychic projection to scare Tegan because it was the old man from the Mara stuff. Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was from the Mara stuff.
Yeah, you recognize him? He was the one who sat there and talked to them with his mind.
Okay.
You remember that guy?
No.
The old skinny Indian looking guy?
Oh yeah, with the snake.
Yeah.
That was him?
I think so.
Why do you look so bad?
I think so.
Oh, he looked terrible.
Okay. It may not have been him.
Oh.
But it's immediately what my mind connected when I saw him.
Why would he scare Tegan?
I don't know. And it may just have been an old guy from the 1600s that got projected. But I saw it and I thought of that guy. So we'd have to directly compare them. Hey, leave a note in the comments if you think it is or it isn't.
Wasn't his face like carved on one of the stones though?
It wasn't his face, it was the Mara's face.
Right. I thought it was both.
No, it was the Mara's face.
Oh.
Okay. So the Mara apparently they sent a probe ship, a reconnaissance ship, down to Earth to possibly invade it.
Aliens and their probes.
Yeah. And what happened was it didn't find any psychic energy in this part of England because there wasn't anybody living there. So it lay dormant. Then, when the random battle happened in the village back in 1643, it woke up because of all the violent psychic energy, and it made everything a lot worse. And then when the battle was over, it went dormant again. And it lay dormant until the historian, the grandfather, Tegan's grandfather, found it, told Sir George, and then Sir George went out of his way to try and make a mental connection with it, and it spoke to him, and that's why Sir George went mad with power and wanted to kill people in the war games and on the maypole, in order to feed it so that it would give him what he was promised.
Do you think we look washed out in this light? You think it should be more dynamic? Like, what if we had it to the side? Or lifted all the way up and pointed at an angle? How high up does that stick go?
That looks about
3.5,
4 feet.
4.
Oh, you mean how much further it could go?
Yeah.
I don't know, but that looks about right. I tested it when I first got it, and this seemed like the best position. Because my problem was when I switched out those lights, remember? This corner became really dark, and you were sitting in the light, and I was sitting in shade. And so I got that light to help us both be in the light. Remember, we had several serials where we'd watch it, and I was just sitting in not quite the dark, but it was like a bunch of shades darker than where you were.
How many lumens is that? You said you put it in the best position. Did you consult the book of like light positions? What is that called?
I think it's 1200 lumens.
It's in Indian. Karma Lumen.
No.
Yeah. Karma Sutra.
Do you know what a lumen
light
is?
Position. Some sort of measurement of
Of
light.
brightness.
Yeah.
But do you know literally what the measurement of brightness is?
No.
It's a candle flame.
Oh.
A lumen is the amount of light
that
a
sound
single candle flame does.
Because how much would one lumen be?
One candle flame.
I feel like a candle's brighter than that.
That's how they measure it.
That's kind of like horsepower.
Exactly.
But 1 horsepower isn't actually 1 horse.
Not anymore, no.
What happened?
Well, it's like a foot. You know how we got a foot?
Someone's actual foot?
No, a bunch of people's actual feet.
Huh.
So there was a king back in the day, and he said...
Oh, it's like an average?
Yes. He said, we need a measurement for length. So he said, well, we'll call it a foot. And people said, well, people have different sized feet. So he got like several hundred men together, stood them all, foot to foot, just really foot to foot.
The total length.
And they got the total length
divided
it by the number of men.
It is 12 inches. Is that still the average?
For people's feet, I don't know. We were taller today than they were back then.
12 inches is a lot.
Yeah, well, I mean, I wear a size 11 and a half, which is almost 12 inches.
Huh.
What size shoe do you wear?
Feet.
What size shoe do you wear?
8.5?
It's smaller than my feet, yeah.
9?
There you go. But yeah, it's just, that's how they got a foot. And I mean, there's other units of measurement that are very
but horses,
based off of actual direct basic things.
Horses haven't gotten more powerful, have they?
Well, you could say they bred them over the last 2 millennia to make them more powerful.
Oh, but not since they've had horsepower. That's a fairly
not as much, no. Yeah.
Measurement.
All right.
And candles haven't gotten more brighter, more bright.
Maybe, I don't know. All right. So anyway, where were we? Okay, episode 2. The doctor finishes his screaming and holding his head, and then the rest of the wall breaks down. You don't see it all. You don't see the full face until the second episode.
Right.
The rest of the wall breaks down, and you see this giant, freaky face that my wife hated.
That's great.
Yeah, because it had these big green eyes, and it was the size. It was about 10 feet tall, and
very eerie,
very
kind
creepy.
Reminded me of like when in Power Rangers Rita Repulsa would make one of the villains grow to be the size of a big building.
No, but okay.
And then all the Power Rangers would get in their mechs, and then they'd form together to make the Voltron Power Ranger mech.
No, but okay.
So it's like 2 buildings, but it was just 2 people in like weird costumes, like Godzilla, like the old thing.
Okay, yeah. But so anyway, they go ahead and Will runs away. Will runs away. The doctor and the teacher are like, the doctor's like, I have to talk to Sir George. She's like, wait, don't you have enough troubles? And he's like, well, this thing is feeding off the mental, violent energy of all these men because of the war games. So I have to talk to Sir George to stop the war games. And she's like, oh, yeah, you need to talk to Sir George. And they're going to the priest hole, and they're having this long conversation, and they stop several times.
Meanwhile, when is it that Turlo and what was his name? Andrew Varney?
Yeah.
They're trying to break out of the barn.
Yeah, a little bit later. Yeah.
The whole episode trying to break out.
They spend half the episode trying to break out of the barn.
Half this episode and half last episode. Or no?
I don't think he was captured the previous episode. If he was, it was barely.
Oh, okay.
I think most of the second episode is when they're trying to break out the barn. Okay, so the doctor and the teacher go back to Ben's house. Ben is there along with, ooh, I'll take some ice.
Ice?
Yeah, please. One of the whiskey
One of the
balls?
balls?
Yeah. Alright. So the doctor and the teacher go back to Ben's house. Ben is there along with Sir George. The doctor tries to talk Sir George out of the war games. And Sir George's like, no. They must continue. And there's also Tegan there. Turlo is in the barn with Tegan's grandfather. And Sir George is like, no, I'm going to go run the festivities. He gives the flintlock gun or whatever it is to Ben. And he says, okay, kill them. Kill the doctor. Now Ben is not out of his mind. Ben is still pretty good. So he's like, I'm not going to do that. And the doctor's like, good, thank you for seeing sanity. And the doctor says, all right, we need to go find Turlo. And we need to see if we can stop these games from happening. Period, by any means necessary. So the doctor sneaks out back to the priest hole, out through the main gate door, and he goes to head off and back into the village. And the doctor's like, take care of Tegan and Ben, and the teacher. And Tegan was forced to change into a 17th century style, which you would see at Ren Fair dress. Really nice, actually. Green. Looks great on her. And she gets told, change into that dress. She says, well, I don't want to. And the second command, the sergeant guy says, Sergeant Willow says, or I'll do it for you. She's like, oh, okay. So she changes into the dress. Anyway, so Ben tells her not to change out of the dress back into her clothes. And she's like, why? And he says, look, I'm the only person who's been sent to deliver you to the festivities. But if we don't do that, they are going to comb the entire village looking for us, and the doctor will have no chance. He will literally get captured.
Going to comb all of Hodcomb.
That's bad. Little Hodcomb, but yeah.
Little Hodcomb.
Alright, so
we ain't shot.
we ain't found shit.
That's it.
Alright.
In the desert.
So the doctor's looking for Turlo. Turlo's trying to escape. The doctor ends up getting captured as he tries to not very stealthily circumnavigate the maypole scene.
Oh yeah, he just runs right
Yeah,
through it.
it's like, here's
like,
the bad
hey, grabbing him. He's like, oh.
It's like the bad guys are where he's sitting. I might be 5 feet away trying to sneak around. He didn't do a good job. He failed his stealth check.
Yeah, where's his Venusian foo though? Like, remember the castle scene, and then the recap, the castle scene with who is it?
Oh,
was it like
yeah,
Kirby?
the third doctor. He has his. Is it Venusian foo? What is it? It's That's good, Venusian foo. Anyway,
Football.
Yeah, but
juking out.
he does all that, but
soldiers.
this doctor's not as physical. You know,
Yeah,
he's more of a
really
thinker.
not. But he's supposed to be like the athletic cricket player, younger doctor. He's
Okay.
the youngest doctor.
Up until that time, he was the youngest doctor ever. Yeah, but he's very pacifistic. Anyway, so the doctor gets captured. There's a cart to take the Queen of the May, Tegan, to the festivities with the Maypole, where they're going to kill her. Mm-hmm. Think very much The Wicker Tree or the original The Wicker Man. Have you seen The Wicker Tree?
I've never seen either of those.
The Wicker Man is an absolute drop-dead classic. Not that one.
Not
I'm
the
talking
Nicolas Cage
1970s original. Christopher Lee was in it.
Oh.
And 40-something, almost 50 years later, he does a sequel called The Wicker Tree. Also with Christopher Lee.
Oh.
It was like 45 years later. And it was kind of neat. It wasn't as good as the original, but it was nice to see the same director with the same actor so far later doing the sequel, you know?
Yeah.
Um,
Kind of like, what's that one movie? Clerks? Clerks 2, Clerks 3.
right, but those sequels were much closer together.
Oh, well, they're like, what, a decade each?
True. There's about a decade between each of them, but it's much sooner than 45 years.
Did you watch the newest one?
Yeah, Clerks 3, I saw it in the theater.
Was it good?
It was. It was a very, very different and more mature take on the subject matter. But it was good. Actually, I still think Kevin Smith's most mature movie was... what is it called? It's,
the one with Alan Rickman?
No, not Dogma. No, it's the one where he finds his daughter. Jay finds out he has a daughter.
Oh,
and
Jay and Silent Bob. Those films?
No, it's not Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back. It's
Silent Bob Reboot.
yeah, Jay and Silent Bob Rebooted. Thank you, Sunshine. Yeah, that was actually, I think, to me, his Kevin Smith's most mature movie. Is it his best movie? I don't know. I mean, I think Clerks was just fantastic, and some of his other movies are good too. But that's his most mature movie.
Which one does Silent Bob not be silent anymore?
All
of them.
In all of them, yeah.
Oh,
he says at least one line in each of them.
What? Is there one where he like talks throughout the whole thing? The one where they had their likeness stole for the comic book?
That's Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back.
Strike Back. Does he talk in that one?
Mm-hmm.
A lot?
Enough. But not
multiple times.
A couple.
Oh, okay.
Alright, I think. Anyway, so the doctor gets captured, and Sir George is like, "You're just in time to see the festivities." The cart carrying Tegan, and the teacher right behind Tegan,
driven by Ben,
goes through the village, and there are young ladies in the classic dress from the century throwing petals at her, you know, as they did. So then
Tegan.
Huh?
Very obviously, like the stiff dim.
Well, not yet. Through most of it, you see it's Tegan. But
no, it is the dummy the whole time.
No. It was obviously Tegan at the beginning, with the teacher behind her.
In the wagon?
Yes. At the very beginning, it's Tegan, and right behind Tegan is the teacher. Somewhere through the middle, it gets swapped out for the straw dummy.
Well, not until they reach the no, it's never Tegan. Tegan changed outfits.
At the very beginning, it's Tegan with the teacher sitting behind her.
When?
Right as the cart's leaving the house.
Oh, not when it's leaving the house, when it's zoomed out.
Yeah. I agree with you. Yeah. When it's right leaving the house, it's Tegan, and right behind her sitting the teacher. Somewhere in the middle of it going through the town, I don't know exactly where. It may have been as soon as it got to town, or it may have been later. But somewhere, it zooms out, and then you were like, "Wait, is that a straw?" You were like, "Is that a dummy?" Because it was so stiff.
I thought it was a dummy the whole time.
Not right when it leaves the house. It was Tegan. Because Tegan looks back, and the teacher's there, and the teacher looks up at her.
Okay.
Yeah. But somewhere along the way, it might have been immediately after that, I don't know. But somewhere along the way, it ends up being the straw dummy. So, speaking of the straw dummy, Ben gets to the city square, and it's obviously now in the dress of straw dummy. Tegan got her clothes back. And he's like, "What are you doing?" And he's like, "I'm trying to bring some sanity to the proceedings, you know? And if you want to burn this dummy alive, go for it." He's like, "You've ruined everything." And then he's like, "Okay, man, kill him," pointing at Ben. And Ben's like, "I'm not having any of this." And he takes off. In the meantime, the doctor's being held by some of the soldiers. Will shows up, grabs one of the torches meant to start the pyre, and he starts twirling it around. This is a great D&D move, or if ever accosted by wild animals.
Yeah.
You've got a torch, fling it in front of him, you know? Some of the soldiers, back away, release the doctor, and the doctor and Will take off and jump on the cart. And they're going on the cart, and in the meantime, Turlo and Tavros, was it?
Varney? Andrew Varney?
Oh yeah, Tavros was the one with the, back in the day with the, Professor Tavros with the abominable snowman.
Oh yeah.
Alright, so Varney and Turlo finally break through this door. The doctor...
Spent the whole episode doing it.
Half of it, yeah. The doctor, Will, and Varney... No, the doctor, Will, and Ben head off and they go to the church. They go inside the church, and there in the church is...
all the people?
Well, first it's the teacher and... First it's a teacher and Tegan.
Yeah.
And they're just now coming out of the priest hole. Because they had to walk through this long thing all the way through the village, and the doctor had the cart.
Right.
Alright, so he goes, come on, hurry up, still lots to do.
There's still lots to do.
So they go down into the crypt, and they go into the TARDIS, and the doctor's like, you left the door open? And Tegan's like, there was already something in it. Right behind them, directly behind them, is Sergeant Willow, and I don't think we ever got the big strong guy's name.
I don't think so, no.
So the teacher had already been told about all the stuff from outer space, but she's still kind of surprised about the inside the TARDIS. Everyone is, everyone is. So those two other guys come up and they close the door.
We have new companions.
BBC does not consider them companions.
I do.
As you will.
I won't remember them, so it doesn't matter.
Alright. The big guy picks up a large piece of stone that has fallen, and he tries to break through the TARDIS doors, which we know he can't do. But in the meantime, on the corner of the wall in the TARDIS,
gross,
there's this weird, creepy-looking thing that turns and looks at him. It's a early CGI effect, but it's done really well.
And no one notices it.
No, they do pretty quick.
I thought it was live action.
That says it's a really good CGI effect.
Like a miniature? Because it spit stuff out of its mouth.
Oh, you're right, it did. Never mind. Alright, but you're right, it so...
But there's like a CGI around it. They do that.
Yeah, so...
Maybe there's like a filter
basically, it is a manifestation of the psychic energy inside the TARDIS, the way we've already had several others, including the guy with the skin deal over his eye and all that. And...
Ghosts.
Yeah, and so the Doctor programs the TARDIS to break the psychic energy field that's feeding Malice. He does that, and then the little creature on the wall kind of dies.
How does he do that?
Wait, how does the creature die, or how does the Doctor...
How does the TARDIS, interrupt the psychic field?
Because the TARDIS is amazing. So then the Doctor says, okay, Malice can no longer feed, unless it's really directly there. It's stopping it, feeding all the villagers, everything's good.
The TARDIS materializes and it could shrink, right? Why doesn't he just keep it in his pocket? Why isn't the TARDIS like a watch or something?
The TARDIS gets really big at one point, and it does shrink down really tiny at one point. It doesn't mean it's the norm at all.
Yeah. But there is technology that he could make it small and put it in his pocket.
Yes, that does exist.
Why doesn't he use that?
He likes it the way it is.
I guess so.
Maybe it's painful to TARDIS. I don't know.
Painful to the TARDIS?
The TARDIS, he calls the TARDIS a she. One of the later Doctors calls the TARDIS sexy. The TARDIS eventually, in one episode, is transmogrified into a woman.
Like Cortana from Halo?
I don't know Halo.
Or the computer from SpongeBob? Plankton's wife?
Don't remember that
Oh,
episode.
okay.
I've only seen a little bit of SpongeBob, but anyway, no, the TARDIS is a living, breathing, sentient.
Like the new Blade Runner?
Kinda. It's sentient. So anyway, the Doctor. Okay, so they go out and they're trying to get to the Malice to destroy it. In the meantime, the Malice projects 3 soldiers who come at them, and they're like, they're gonna kill us. They're gonna kill us. Why are they moving so slow? Right now, we're the only thing the Malice can feed off because we're so close, because we blocked it outside. So they're going to create terror within us to help feed the Malice. They're going to take their time. Then the big tall guy who was swinging the rock at the TARDIS wakes up, runs upstairs, and he comes around the corner, stands in the middle of the 3 guys. They take their swords, put them around his neck, and decapitate him. Family show.
Hey,
First death.
death number 1.
Yeah. All right. So they disappear, and they ask the Doctor, "What's going on?" And he says, "Well, that must have taken a whole lot of psychic energy. He's pretty dormant now. He doesn't have much." And at the same moment, Sir George is like, "The church! I must get to the church!" Because his master calls him. He gallops off to the church, shows up, pulls a big blade, a couple of guns on the Doctor and everyone else. Ben, the teacher, Will, Turlo and Tegan. Oh, Turlo and Avers?
Who? Andrew?
No.
Varney.
Varney. Turlo and Varney had taken the stones and knocked out the 2 guys trying to get into the TARDIS. And they met up with everybody. So they're there, and he's pointing Sir George's pointing his gun at, like, the Doctor and Ben. And Ben's like, "I'm your friend. I'm your old friend. Why are you like this?" He says, "Well, the Malice promised me everything. I'll have all this." The Doctor's like, No. As soon as he's done with you, he will destroy you and everything else. No. And finally his psyche is just breaking inside. And he drops one of the guns and he's holding the other to his head like this. And Ben goes at him, but Ben and the Doctor both get pulled away by people. And Will runs up and thrusts him into the Malice, so he dies. Death number 2. Family show.
2 episodes, 2 deaths.
Oh man, remember last week when everybody died? We would have been so wasted drinking in every one of those. But every single person, entity, except the Doctor's companions died.
That was depressing.
It was.
10, 15,
25.
20, yeah.
Right.
25.
So,
Lawyers of the Deep.
yeah, so, Warriors of the Deep.
Oh.
So, the Doctor's like, well, it looks like it's going to its programming since it can no longer feed, and it's going to demolish this entire place. Run! Everybody runs out of the church.
Self-destruct.
Yeah, it self-destructs, takes out the last of the church with it. No, they didn't run outside, they ran into the TARDIS. They got in the TARDIS, and they dematerialized before the church exploded. And
5 new companions.
no, so everybody's like, Doctor's like, Turlo goes, wait, if he's just a psychic projection of the Malice, why is Will still here? The Doctor's like, I was wrong. He's real. He came to the time rift. I'm wrong.
So confirmation he's going to be a companion, because he's not just a psychic projection, right?
But he's like, but we can take him home. And Tegan goes, wait, what? We came here to visit my grandfather. And she's like, we need to stay with him a little while. Charles like, I really would like a rest, Doctor.
Yeah.
And not just like, well, we'll do this and then we do that.
Ben and Hampton are like, was 7 against 1.
Yeah. Ben, the teacher, the sergeant, everybody, the grandfather, Tegan, Turlo, everybody's like, hey, we stay a little while. You can get him home later. And he's like, okay, I don't want to, but I'll relent. And,
can you make chainmail out of these?
I don't know if you have enough of them.
I'm gonna have to drink a lot of these. Because how cool would like green chainmail look?
I've seen people do it.
Wouldn't that look cool?
Yeah, I've seen them. It's possible, but you need a lot of them. It was better when you had the pull tabs that had the little sharp edge deal back in the day.
Oh, like the other end of this?
Yeah, the classic pull tabs.
Yeah.
It worked a lot easier because then you could put the roundy part through the other deal and bend it down. These, it doesn't work quite as well, but the other ones were much better.
If I drink one a day until next Renaissance Festival, will I be able to make a hat? A chainmail hat?
Maybe, yeah. A coif.
Coif.
Coif. C-O-I-F. Coif.
Coif. Yeah.
You can, I believe, spell it with a Q. I'd have to double check. But anyway, so Turlo goes, besides, I really like that brown drink they drink here. And Will goes,
beer? Ale?
Ale? He goes, no, tea. And he's like, what's tea? Well, because in his day, they hadn't gotten the tea from the Orient yet into the United Kingdom or into England. And he's like, oh, okay.
The doctor explains it, but how does he describe it? Poison?
It's an acidic drink from the Orient with that it oxidizes or something, and he's like, and I quite like it. End of episode 2.
He describes it in a really unflattering way.
He does. A very technical way. Did you have any questions for episode 2?
I did, and then I forgot it. And I should have written it down.
Okay.
So no. I don't think I have any. Oh, do we ever see the mouths again? No,
Nope.
we do not.
We do not. And we never hear of that town again in Doctor Who. I mean, it's a very straightforward serial. It could have been stretched to 4 episodes if you, because like there's a couple of times where the Doctor's life gets threatened, or they could have actually put Tegan on the maypole. There's places where you could have had a good episode break.
And did you talk about the recap?
Oh, the recap was
really short.
Teeny tiny short. It was like
they didn't
15
have
seconds because
time for it.
Yeah, with only 2 deals, and only 2 episodes. But this particular one is much better off as a 2-parter. Because otherwise they would have used
really fast paced.
Yeah, it was really fast paced. They could have slowed down a little, had a little more deal, so that would have made 3 episodes. But for 4, they would have really had to padded the hell out of it.
You'd have to add a new character, a new plot point.
No, you add people escaping, getting caught again, escaping, getting caught again, escaping, getting caught again, which is the classic of Doctor Who. Yeah, but no, it works really well as a 2-episode serial. All right, next week. We have 4 episodes
again.
And what was it called? Frontios.
What?
Frontios. Frontios.
Frontios.
Yep.
What does that mean? Tune in next week. Is that how they get you? Next time they're like, tune in next week to see Frontios, and all the kids would be like, what is Frontios?
Actually, a lot of times at the end of the deals, they would have something like that back in the day.
Same bet channel.
Same bet time, same bet channel. Soap was a great example of that.
Soap? What's soap?
Okay, you remember soap operas? They still exist, but you know soap operas,
Fight
right?
Club soap?
No, you know soap operas, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Days of Our Lives,
Yeah.
again, right? So, because way back in the day, they were sponsored by soap companies.
Oh, were they really?
Yeah, that's why they
Is that
call
where
soap
they got
operas
their
from
name?
way back in the day. We're talking 1930s.
Sponsored by soap companies?
Yeah, we're talking like 1930s on the radio and stuff like that. So there was a TV show called Soap in the late 70s, early, like 78, 79, 80, something like that. That was a parody of soap operas.
Oh, like Saturday Night Live.
And it's hilarious.
Yeah.
But at the beginning of every episode, they'd have a recap of what was going on. At the end of every episode, they would ask a bunch of questions, like, will Danny ever find out who his father is? Will George ever tell Zell that he loves her? For this and many others, stay tuned for next week's episode of Soap.
I was named after a soap opera character.
Oh,
Yeah.
Holden?
Yeah.
What soap opera?
I wrote it down.
And was he a good guy or a
on
bad
my phone.
guy?
I have no idea. But I was talking to someone on tech support, and she said she named her son Holden for the same reason after the same soap opera character.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah.
All right. We'll see you next week, guys. With
Most people guess it's William Holden or something. No, Catcher in the Rye. That Holden. What is his name?
Never read it.
Okay.
Right. See you next week.
week.
Hey. Ba-ba-ba-ba-da-bum. Yeah, 1 hour, 2 episodes is not